Have you ever stood in your kitchen, looking at a jar of tomato sauce, and thought, I used to open these in seconds? What happened? Or maybe you've tried pulling on your favorite sweater and suddenly, your shoulder protests like it's trying to join a union. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Aging has a sneaky way of making everyday things we've done 1,000 times, feel like climbing a mountain with a backpack full of bowling balls. But here's the thing no one talks about enough. You don't have to keep asking for help every time you want to zip up a jacket or chop a tomato. You deserve to feel independent, to move through your day without that heavy sigh or the guilt of bothering someone. And the good news? There are clever little tools out there, yes, gadgets, designed to bring the ease back into your daily routine. In this video, I want to show you how 3 simple adaptive tools can change your life when it comes to cooking, dressing, and even gardening. These aren't gimmicks or fancy contraptions that end up collecting dust in the back of a drawer. These are smart, affordable solutions that help you do things your way, without waiting for someone else to lend a hand. So let's get right into it, starting with something most of us either love or dread: cooking. Now, cooking should be a joy. It's comforting, it's creative, and let's be honest, nothing beats the smell of garlic sizzling in a pan or warm cookies straight from the oven. But over time, even the kitchen can start to feel like a bit of a hazard zone. Cutting vegetables can feel risky. Lifting a heavy pot might throw out your back. And forget about opening that stubborn jar of pickles. It's practically a workout. That's where our first tool comes in, the electric jar opener. You just place it on top of the lid, press a button, and let it do the work. No twisting, no straining, no yelling for help from across the house. I gave one to my aunt after she had wrist surgery. And let me tell you, she acts like it's a magic trick every time she uses it. But here's the real magic. She feels capable again. She's back in the kitchen, making her famous stew without calling her neighbor to open cans for her. And while we're on the topic of food prep, let's not ignore the knife block sitting on the counter. Those beautiful, sharp knives you've had for years might not be the best option anymore, especially if your hands have lost a bit of their strength or steadiness. One slip and suddenly dinner turns into a trip to urgent care. That's why I always recommend a rocking knife. It has a curved blade, a comfortable handle, and it rocks back and forth to cut. No pushing down, no fancy slicing techniques, just a gentle motion and, voila, your veggies are chopped. It's safer, it's easier on the wrists, and it still gets the job done. I've even had folks tell me they enjoy cooking more now because they're not worried about hurting themselves. So whether it's chili night, salad prep, or just trying to open the peanut butter jar, these tools bring the fun and freedom back into your kitchen. And I don't know about you, but the day I can cook a full meal again without calling someone in for backup, that's a win in my book. Let's step out of the kitchen for a moment and talk about something a little more personal: getting dressed. It seems like such a simple thing, right? But try buttoning a shirt with stiff fingers or pulling up socks with a sore back. Suddenly, that morning routine turns into a 20-minute battle. And the worst part? That tiny whisper in the back of your head that says, maybe I should just ask someone to do it for me. Don't believe that voice. You don't need to give up your independence just because your hands don't move like they used to. There are smart solutions out there, and one of my favorites is the dressing stick. It's a simple-looking tool, but don't let its modesty fool you. With one hook and one pusher, it helps you pull up pants, guide sleeves over your shoulder, even remove socks, all without twisting your arms into a yoga pose. A friend of mine, let's call him George, was recovering from shoulder surgery and thought he'd be stuck wearing nothing but zip-up hoodies forever. Then someone gave him a dressing stick. And I swear, you'd think it was the greatest invention since sliced bread. He's back to wearing his favorite flannel shirts, buttoned and all, with zero assistance. Now, socks. They seem innocent enough, but if you've ever lost your balance trying to pull one on, you know they're secretly plotting against us. That's where a sock aid comes in. It's like a little cradle you put your sock on, slide your foot into, and pull the handles. No bending, no wobbling, no frustration, just warm feet and a proud smile. All of these tools, whether for cooking or dressing, share one powerful thing in common. They give you back control. And that's what we're really talking about here. Not gadgets, not gimmicks, just the little freedoms we sometimes forget we've lost until we get them back. Now that we've looked at how to bring more ease into your kitchen and your closet, let's take a walk outside. Because if you're like me, there's nothing better than fresh air and dirt under your fingernails. But gardening, while good for the soul, can take a real toll on the knees and back. But that doesn't mean you have to give it up. Just like we found tools to bring the ease back into cooking and dressing, there are a few clever helpers that can keep you gardening without groaning every time you bend down, or worse, giving up the hobby altogether. Let me paint you a picture. It's a sunny morning. The birds are chirping, and your favorite flowers are just starting to bloom. You've got a little time, a cup of coffee waiting nearby, and the urge to dig in the dirt. But then you look at the trowel, then at your knees, then at the garden bed that seems just a bit farther away than it used to be. That moment, that hesitation, is where the right tool can change everything. Have you ever tried a garden kneeler with handles? It's one of those things you don't realize you need it until you use it once. You place it on the ground like a comfy bench, kneel down on the padded cushion, and when it's time to stand back up, here's the best part. It has sturdy handles on each side. You just push up like you're getting up from a chair. No pressure on the knees. No pulling on a railing or asking for a hand. You're back up on your feet with dignity intact and dirt on your hands. Just the way it should be. And if you're thinking, that sounds good, but kneeling at all is still tough, don't worry. Flip the same tool over, and it becomes a bench you can sit on while you garden. Trim the roses, plant a few herbs, pull the weeds you've been glaring at for a week, all from a safe, comfortable seat. It's like the best of both worlds. Support when you're low to the ground, and a break when you need to take a breath. But gardening isn't just about being down on the ground. A lot of the challenge actually comes from the little things, like gripping clippers, carrying watering cans, or trying to dig a hole in dry, stubborn soil. That's why lightweight, ergonomic tools are such a game changer. They're designed to fit better in your hand, with larger grips and softer padding, so you don't have to squeeze like you're opening a pickle jar just to snip a stem. And they're lighter, so even if your strength isn't what it used to be, you can still do the work without overdoing it. I remember talking to a woman named Carol, a retired schoolteacher who loved tending to her backyard every spring. She told me she'd nearly given up gardening because the clippers she used made her hands hurt for days. I recommended a pair with spring-loaded handles and padded grips, something specifically made for folks dealing with arthritis or joint stiffness. The next time I saw her, she was glowing, not just because her garden looked amazing, but because she'd reclaimed a part of her life that made her feel, well, like herself again. That's the thing, isn't it? These aren't just tools, they're keys. Keys that unlock parts of your day that might have felt out of reach. And when you have the right ones, you stop thinking about what you can't do and start rediscovering what you still love to do. But we also have to talk about the mindset that creeps in sometimes. That quiet voice that whispers, "You don't need to be doing this. Just let someone else handle it." It shows up in all kinds of ways. When your kids say, "Let me take care of that for you," or when a neighbor insists on bringing your trash cans in. And while help is always appreciated, there's a fine line between accepting support and surrendering your independence. Using adaptive tools isn't giving up. It's not a sign that you're less capable. It's the opposite. It's a sign that you're clever, resourceful, and still in the driver's seat. You're making adjustments, not giving in. And if something lets you keep doing what you love, on your terms, why on earth wouldn't you use it? I like to think of it this way. We've all used tools our whole lives. As kids, we had training wheels. In school, we used calculators. We wear reading glasses, use canes, even hold onto railings when the stairs get slick. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And these adaptive tools? They're just the next smart choice in a long line of smart choices you've already made. So whether it's opening a jar, buttoning a shirt, or planting tulips without having to crawl across the yard, these gadgets give you something far more valuable than convenience. they give you confidence. Confidence that you can still cook your favorite meals, wear what makes you feel good, and step outside to tend a little garden that still brings you joy. And joy, my friend, is the goal, not just getting through the day, but enjoying it, feeling proud of what you've done, however small it may seem. That sense of, I've got this, it's worth everything. Now, there's still one more piece to this puzzle, because even with all the right tools in your hands, there's something else that ties it all together, a mindset, a motivation, a little shift that can turn each of these small actions into a powerful daily routine. And that's where the real transformation happens. It's not just about the tools. It's about what they represent, your autonomy, your spirit, your refusal to be sidelined just because the calendar says you've passed a certain age. When you start using these small supports to take charge of your everyday tasks, something shifts deep inside. You begin to feel stronger, more in control, and yes, even a little more hopeful. Let's take a moment and really think about what independence feels like. It's that quiet confidence when you wake up in the morning and know you can get dressed without calling someone in. It's making a sandwich or a cup of tea just the way you like it, without fumbling with lids or straining to lift a kettle. It's going outside to clip a few herbs or admire your roses, knowing your knees won't give out and your back won't punish you for it later. These may sound like small victories, but they stack up, and when they do, they add up to something big, peace of mind. I spoke recently with a man named Richard. He's in his early 70s, widowed, living on his own, and fiercely independent. For a while, he'd been struggling in silence, mostly out of pride. He didn't want to admit that buttoning his dress shirts for Sunday service had become a real challenge. And he definitely didn't want to ask his daughter to come over every morning just to help him get dressed. Then, he found a button hook. Just a simple little tool with a looped wire on one end. It helped him fasten every last button with zero frustration. And you know what he told me? He said, I didn't even realize how heavy it had been. Needing help like that, now I get dressed and feel like myself again. It's a quiet kind of freedom. Not flashy, not dramatic, but powerful. And you deserve that. You deserve to feel that confidence every single day. Now, maybe you're watching this and thinking, well, I've managed this long without any gadgets. I'm doing just fine. And that might be true. But ask yourself this. Are you avoiding certain things because they've become just a little too frustrating? Have you stopped making that stew you used to love because chopping the vegetables is too much? Have you started wearing only stretchy pants and slip-ons? Not because you want to, but because they're easier? This isn't about forcing yourself to power through pain or frustration. It's about giving yourself permission to enjoy life with a little less resistance. A little less struggle. It's about choosing ease where it's available. And if something as simple as a sock aid or a garden bench can give that to you, why wait? I want you to picture your ideal day. Not a fantasy day, a real, ordinary day, but one where you can do what you want to do without waiting on someone else. Without struggling through discomfort, and without feeling like your body is holding you hostage. That's not too much to ask. That's exactly what you deserve. Maybe it starts with you getting out of bed and dressing yourself in something that makes you feel sharp, maybe even a little stylish. You walk into the kitchen and make breakfast. Open that stubborn jar without a second thought, and sit down to eat with pride. Later, you step outside, water your plants, clip a few herbs, and feel the sunshine on your skin, all without calling in reinforcements. That's not just a good day. That's a great day, and you can have more of those days. Sometimes people think independence is all or nothing. That if you need help with one thing, it means you're slipping. But the truth is, independence is made up of dozens of tiny decisions. It's about using tools that extend your capabilities, not replace them. It's about staying in charge of how you do things, not whether you can do them at all. So, here's what I want to leave you with. Never let shame stop you from making life easier. You've earned the right to enjoy your days without constant struggle. These tools, they're not cheats, they're choices. Smart, empowering choices. And every time you use one, you're not just making your life simpler, you're sending a message to yourself. I'm still in charge. if you've tried any of these tools, or if you have your own favorites that make life easier. I'd love to hear about them. Share your story in the comments, because you never know who you might inspire. There's someone out there who's feeling discouraged, who doesn't even realize that one little gadget could give them back a piece of their day. Your words might be the reason they try. And if this video helped you, even in a small way, hit that like button so we know to keep creating more content like this. And don't forget to subscribe, because we're building a community here. A space where getting older doesn't mean giving up. It means getting smarter, supporting each other, and living life on our terms. Here's to doing more of what you love, with fewer obstacles in the way. You've got this, and you're not alone. Now go enjoy your day, on your terms.